Okay, hello everybody. We're live on MK Boards here. We're going to be casting Division 3 Regicide versus Apocalypse. I'm Jaggy and I'm joined here by Vincent. Alright, so interesting matchup here in a very, very interesting Division 3. So here's how the Division 3 standings turned out. List of Creation Films with 20 points, Regicide 18, Apocalypse 17, and then you have Beyblade and Akipo Phoenix with 16 right behind Apocalypse's tail. Initially, the D3 table wasn't that close going into like weeks 6 and 7, but somehow Akipo Phoenix made a push. They won, I believe, their last 4 matches. They won their last 4 matches. They got a free win against Beyblade. Beyblade had a couple of issues gathering lineups. That was one of the reasons why they didn't make the playoffs. They were a pretty strong team, even without Alex US, who transferred to EM. Both AP and RC were up and down throughout the season. They had some good performances, but then they had some other performances in which they disappeared. But relatively consistent, both teams were throughout the season, so that's a major reason why they made it in the playoffs. Akipo Phoenix just wasn't strong in the beginning of the season, and that was their kryptonite. They weren't able to push through and make it. But yeah, the first actually there was already a match played. So AP are up 1-0 against RC, but RC being second seed only need 1 match to win, and then AP need 2. In the first match, it was a suicide war in which Regicide picked the format, but AP got the better of them that day. It was a little bit of a surprise, though. Not saying that AP are a weak team by any means, but AP definitely did surprise us a little bit with the win. Chills, though, with 105, that was a standout performance from him. Saunders scoring 116. He usually does pretty well for AP, is usually their main runner. Sheiks also had a decent performance as well. It just wasn't a good day for RC. I'm not really sure what happened in that war. I wasn't watching it. But AP with a good, strong showing, and they're going to look to continue the momentum here going into the next match, the second match here.
I want to point out, you were talking about AP earlier. I feel like AP for a while has been on a decline, just as a whole as a team, and that's not to say they're not a good team. They're not, it's not to say they can't contest, but them used to once being a Division 1 team, and for a while they just kind of been around this limbo state of Division 3, Division 4. So for them to kind of be breaking out in Division 3 and in the semis, it's cool to see.
Yeah, and I would like to see some success for AP. I do think they have maybe 1 banner overall. They've been playing for a while, but they haven't really had too much glory in the community. So it'd be nice to see them get a division win.
RC and AP, this is like the battle of all. This is like the war of all wars. Like RC and AP always play scrimmage matches together. These two lineups go together like a lot, and they're played quite often. And I think in terms of skill level, these two lineups are very, very close in skill.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. Regicide are missing out on Matt, I would like to point out, because he's focusing on IRL right now. And, I mean, good on him. That's fine, but RC are going to miss him very much. Even though they are going to sub Moises, who's okay for the div, they're definitely going to miss that running power in Matt. And I do think that makes the matchup a little more even. I feel like if RC would have been able to play Matt, they would have had a little bit of an edge in the running department. But it's a little more even now. And I do think Sky9 has the bagging advantage over Jack. Jack has actually been known to be a decent bagger as of late, but Sky9 has the experience factor there. I do think it's going to be slightly in Sky9's favor, not too much. I do think it's going to be somewhat even, but
in terms of skill, I think it would be in Sky9's favor, just because, like you said, he's had more experience. But with bagging in general, there's only so much of a skill ceiling to where it just comes down to a dice roll.
For sure.
In certain situations. So I think in general, the bagging battle will be fairly close.
Yeah, because if the skill level between the baggers is not too high, anything can happen. If there's a huge difference in skill, then like 9 times out of 10, the better bagger will get the fair share of shocks. But
exactly,
it's going to be even here in terms of running. Apocalypse are going to miss out on Chills. Chills is not known to be like a strong runner, but he had a really good matchup last time out. So I feel like not playing Chills here is going to affect him a little bit.
Chills can play that all-around role.
Yeah.
He can run. You know, he has a lot of tracks that he's really good at running, and he prefers running on them. But he also has these moments where he would just go on a tangent and start, like, you know, hitting everyone the whole race, slagging, and playing the mid-pack role. And I've even seen Chills in certain cases bag. So he's kind of just a nice all-around player to have, and on his day, he can play pretty well.
For sure, and I feel like we do see Trippy coming in for AP, and Trippy's probably going to be their secondary runner alongside Sonder. I think it would be best for them to have Chills if he were able to play, because Chills would focus more on the mid-pack and have Trippy and Sonder run. That's actually a really dangerous duo running. But Trippy is known to be a good troller himself. He has experience in trolling, so the stop trolling is not going to be a problem for him. But if Trippy ends up in a situation where he's going to have to schlag to give his runners a break, I do think Shix could also be a decent runner too. He's a little underlooked for this division. He hasn't been paid too much attention to. I do think he's a consistent 90 to 95 point scorer. So I do think he will make some strides in this match too.
Definitely. And pointing out, we were talking about Trippy. I feel like Trippy can also put in his fair share of points as long as he doesn't tilt. Playing a few matches with Trippy, and also just when he's not trolling, he can tend, if he plays his cards right and doesn't let the racing and the items get to him, he can like be a really strong player.
For sure.
So I'd like to see him just kind of keep his composure and just roll with the punches, you know.
Mm-hmm. There are some people who whenever they tilt, they play worse, and sometimes whenever they tilt, they use that as hunger and desire to like actually play better. Trippy is on the former option. He tends to play worse when he tilts. So if he can keep that under wraps, it'll be very, very dangerous, and it'll pose a threat to RC if he can just keep that tilt under wraps. As for RC, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go
like
ahead.
in a league match setting, you kind of just take that tilt and put it aside, because something about leagues and Weemfi League and Elite League and all that, you feel like it's even though you're not playing for anything, you're just playing for a banner. There's something about it where it's just more competitive, and you kind of put all that tilt and that anger aside and just try to help your team.
Yeah. If you're just talking about composure with tilt, I do think RC is very good at that. They're a very composed side. You don't really see the likes of British or Joss tilting that often. Joss actually does. I play with him in MO. He does tilt every once in a while, but he doesn't let that affect his game. You know how I said there's two ways to approach tilt. One is to make your one, you'll play worse, and two, you won't let it affect you. Joss, he doesn't get affected by tilt. And we haven't talked about RC in the running too much. Paul's definitely going to be a strong runner for RC. They are missing out on Matt, but I do think Paul's going to be a threat. I think he's going to contend against Sonder in the top spots. British is also a decent runner in the sense that he has the experience. He's played this game for a while. As well as Joss. He's been around since like Season 7 of WL.
Joss is an old boy.
Yeah, he's an all-around player, though. He's not going to be up in the front all the time. He's going to be up in the front some races, and then he's going to be in the mid-pack other times. Moises, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. He doesn't have that much experience in the community, so he's kind of being thrown into the sharks right now.
So the room has started, and they are picking a track.
All right.
I'm not quite sure on positions. I will be able to look it up in a minute. But also, I want to point out his cup track textures are kind of cool, like all the little diamonds.
Oh yeah, I did notice that. I just didn't pay any mention to it. Yeah, I like that a lot too. Mushroom Gorge comes out though, an RC staple right here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, here it is. So RC is 1, 3, 6, 7, 10 in the room. So I guess they figure just go for kind of a more neutral pick. And maybe, especially with RC being in 10th, bagging here, it's a little bit of an advantage going backwards. So. Anyway, starting off, first lap, Paul's probably going to want to go for some type of shrooms here. Maybe triple shrooms would be nice. He could take it every lap, get an early lead. but it's not looking like that's going to happen. Getting a single red in 7th.
And it was a good idea there from Shix, actually, to go wide with those greens to try to slow him, but Paul was well aware of his surroundings. He also went just as wide and, like, prevented himself from getting green there.
So he barely misses the last item set going on in the mushroom section, so he won't be able to take the cut. And I feel like in this style of room, especially on Mushroom Gorge, whoever can just break away from lap 1 will probably be gone. You see the pack is pretty close now, so I would like to see Paul hold these shrooms.
Yeah, we did see Paul go for the off-road glitch there just to gain himself a little bit more time. We usually don't see people do it that often, though. We rarely see people do that, and Paul utilizing that and just keeping all of his shrooms and still going on the off-road, it'll save him a lot of time.
To avoid that fib, yeah, it was kind of cool. So these shrooms, kind of a nice pull. I don't like that he's kind of using like a lot of them. I feel like he should have just held. He should have held the original shrooms, but either way, he's here in 3rd. A cute snipe coming in on him, just landing on his head. Oh my god.
That was brilliant work there from
3rd to 7th, just like that. So at this point, we see one bagger going backward. Continue, go ahead.
Looks to me like RC might have pulled it in 9th, actually. I don't know for sure if it was in 9th, but there was no shock coming in to dodge AP and a Mega there, so this could be good for RC.
There is a bill in play going across the mushroom, so yep, there it is.
Yeah.
And it looks like RC is going to secure first.
You are a little behind, actually. But yeah, that was British dodging in a bill. And TSing Paul in the process, though, unfortunately. But it was still a better trade-off there. Even though Paul got TS'd, British still gained a lot of spots there. And I do think, also AP got TS'd there. Gems got TS'd along with Paul. So it was a good shot coming in from RC.
Definitely an RC shot. Kind of slaughtered like 3 of them on the mini-map. If you remember looking at it, it's like 3 funky heads just spun out. So strong showing from RC, first race. Potentially a top 2, a top 3.
It could be a 1-3-5 though, still strong.
Yeah, a 1-3-5-7-9. So they got odds. Just these spots really don't benefit either team. So in terms of track picks, it's probably just gonna come down to like team preference.
So I wanted to point out, Mushroom Gorge is a bit of a tricky track when it comes to shocks. Let's just say you have shock, and if your team are in top spots, you have to wait until your team crosses the whole cave section and then shock there to try to TS and dodge outside. Even if you dodge one of your teammates, TS one of your teammates, it's still a good idea to shock there. And then if your team are in bottom spots and the opposing team's in top spots, you just have to use the shock early in the cave section to try to TS, rather than wait until everyone's in the cave and use a 50-50 shock. But it was a good shock from RC, waiting until their players were out of the cave and then dodging British in the bill. Maple Treeway coming out here from Jack. So yeah, this is actually another track in which RC likes. So 2 of their signature tracks already chalked off here. Let's see how AP respond.
This track is also good because 3rd can go up the tree branch and 1st can run. Going up the tree branch gives you a pretty good item in a high spot. So we did see a few people go up there. Regardless, we have Sandra kind of contesting the top spots for AP. That red sneaking around the corner and being able to get Paul, making sure they're not getting an early lead.
Moises, though, Moises is still up in the front. I think he might have hit a there was a back spam or a banana flying out of the leaf pile that the red connected on. So yes, Moises is still up there, looks to me. No, he's not. He's not.
It's a nice lucky shroom. He's able to shroom ahead. Yeah, so we have Joss and I think that's British up in top 2.
Yeah, Joss and British running this right now.
This track, there's really not too many places you can catch up. The shortcuts it doesn't really do much in terms of running power. And besides the shock, it's more or less a front running track. So top 2-4 for RC is pretty nice.
Sky9 has a huge lead against Jack, though. Jack was struggling to make the backwards strat, though, so this is looking good for AP to pull it.
And that's one of those cases where experience just comes in. Regardless, this Mega that was just a nasty bump, forcing him to have to run into the Wiggler there.
So a Mega in 6 for Paul. Looks to me like I think Sky9 has it anyway. Blue comes in. He's just going to have to predict the shot coming in from AP. RC are running this in I think they're only 2-3. I think AP might be first. So just predict the shot coming in.
I honestly wouldn't like to see an AP shock here. If it's that obvious, it would just hurt AP if anything. Yeah, they decide to hold it if they do have it.
Oh, those greens are... Oh, hits the
Oh,
trail.
as he lands. Oh, my God.
Yeah, dodging bottom spots, I believe, from AP. Yeah, dodging gems and Trippy, so they're going to be able to come up here. They're still going to occupy everything behind
gems
it.
off there.
Yeah.
Sonder and... Oh, my God. That's huge. Like, that one spot is... It could probably be the difference between a winning and losing race. Because gems probably chained a good item, too. Alright, so we see Paul shrooming up, and if he can get a good last item box here, like some kind of shrooms at golden, he can get potentially fifth, but...
It looks to me like a 1-3 for RC. Joss, I think, might have been able to hold first. It's either 1-3 for RC or 2-3 for RC. It's a very mixed race. Yeah, so Joss did lose out on his first in the end. So that shock definitely helped AP. Even though gems did get bumped off, Trippy was still able to get back up to the front. Without that shock, it probably would have been like a 2-3-4 for RC or anything around that. It probably would have been a +5 or +7 race for RC. So good shock from AP. Definitely needed there.
So they're going to opt for the Grumble pick. Kind of an obvious pick for RC. They are more of the bottom spots. So being able to get those shrooms in lower positions and taking the shortcut, taking the rock hop. It is such a busted strategy. 2019, everyone takes the rock. Or 2020. Okay,
it is 2020.
Hold up. It's 2020. Everyone takes the rock hop.
When you just realize it's the new year 4 days later.
It's like when you got to write the date and you're still writing 2019.
Yeah, so I'd like to point out, even though the last match between RC and AP, not in the semifinals, I'm talking about in regular season, was like week 7 or so. Even though this was a while ago, RC definitely had the edge over AP. They all made rock consistently. A lot of their top spots made rock, and 1 or 2 of AP failed it. So RC definitely have the running edge here, at least from previous experience. We'll see what happens here.
I really hope Paul goes for the star rock here. He's not going to.
We do see Trippy make the rock there. He's locking it down at first. I think he had a gold in there, so that is Trippy. Looks to me like he is locking down first right now.
So Paul opting to hold this star, kind of showing that he's confident Sky can get the shock. We see one bagger make the strat. So
Jack made the strat though, so he is ahead of Sky9 right now.
Yeah, and Sky fell off. He probably showing that he had the bill.
Yeah.
So AP most likely going to be pulling shock here. Or no, RC.
Jack didn't actually. No, Jack didn't make the backward strat. I think he failed it and then went forward to try to get it in 10th anyway. But doesn't look to me like he got it.
So Paul making the rock hop. This last shroom could be huge. He could dodge in second or just take the cut and either way be getting first. Able to dodge it with the POW too. Nice.
Looks to me like Moises snuck into first somehow, and it looks to me like it's going to be a 1-3-4-5 for RC. This is looking very nice for them. AP might have shock at this point. Good backspam from Trippy.
Definitely. There's no way Sky doesn't pull it there. There is a blue coming in. That's hitting someone.
It might disappear actually. Blues tend to disappear here.
It looks like it's split on like 3 people. Looking at the minimap.
Oh, last second shock came in. That was an RC shock actually.
And is he gonna steal first?
Yes,
think he is. Oh man, yeah, and a 1-4 for RC. Still a winning race. You know, not as good as it could have been, but they won the race because of that shock. So.
Yeah, the backing battle was a little tricky because initially we thought that Jack had made the backwards strat, but he didn't. But then went forward to try to get the shock in 10th. Fell off with Bill. Sky9 made the strat, and he was in 10th, but then Jack ended up pulling it anyway.
In honesty, I truly, truly hate bagging this track.
This
is like annoying, the one thing it feels completely luck-based. RC, okay, yeah, RC getting a 1-4-7-8-9. I think that's a winner by 1.
No, actually, it was a lose by 3.
Oh.
Yeah, RC lost that race.
I know about this game.
Yeah, what happened in the end was AP pretty much got all the shrooms, pretty much lap 3. and they were all able to take cuts. So even though Paul dodged, I think they just pulled the shock then and then dodged Paul last frame, but it just wasn't enough because AP pulled all the shrooms and caught back up.
So I guess RC figures that fourth can draft first here, even though it's not the strongest starting positions for TF. But if executed correctly, it should work out. Paul's probably going to go for this first box here. Yeah. And just like that, we have...
Yeah, Shik's got a draft on Paul there, but it looks to me like he got bumped.
This is just the war of drafts.
Joss is locking down first. Joss is actually proficient at running this track. I did say he was all around, and there are some tracks he's good at and some tracks where he isn't as proficient at, but Joss is solid here, and expect him to run this effectively.
Yeah, so a top 2 for RC, and as long as they're somehow like second, third place doesn't somehow pull out reds, I see them breaking away, especially with British in third. He can just schlag and slow, and giving them an even bigger breakaway in top 2.
We're gonna have to pay attention. It looks to me like, yeah, Jack ran away with the shock right away. As soon as 30 seconds hit, he pulled the shock and started running away. So Sky9's chasing him down right now. A juke coming out there from Jack, so he's gonna... But here's the thing, there's gonna be a dead end coming up here, so it's gonna be interesting to see how Jack can juke him out a second time.
When the baggers are like chasing each other and on each other's tails, it kind of reminds me of like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Just like going after him with the star constantly. It's funny.
And it looks to me like...
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, RC is still breaking away. That's all I wanted to point out. Like you said, nothing's really changed. There's been no blues, kind of showing RC could be holding the blue. But
actually, I think it's the other way around. Jack's chasing Sky9. I thought it was the other way around. Oh no, the bagger's way in the finish line. Go ahead.
Paul having this shroom. Honestly, I wouldn't go for shroomless if I were them. But here it is, a shock red coming in, and can he get this shroom? Oh my gosh, I don't think he's... Oh.
It was Jack's shock though. I didn't see him spin out. They let Paul take shroomless first, and then shocked right after to dodge Moises, I believe, in a mega.
I guess I was just a little confused because after the shock, it looks like there was a bunch of reds.
I can see where you got confused because there was that shock red coming in. There is a top 4 for RC. Oh. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, British was running in third. He didn't lose his third. He actually kept it throughout, it looks to me like. And then Moises was just holding a dodge throughout. And I was a little confused in the bagging battle. I did say initially that Jack had it, but then I kind of stumbled upon it because I wasn't sure. But then, yeah, Jack did have it the whole time. Let Paul take the shroomless and dodge Moises outside.
In terms of, they kind of executed everything perfectly that they were supposed to do. Because TF, they started 1-4, fourth drafted first, and from there they just ran. The shock was acquired, and I mean, once a team has a breakaway in shock, like, there's really nothing you can do. If you're AP there, the best thing you're pulling is blue shells, and then when you do, you're risking a lot of thunderclouds too, like trying to chain those boxes. So at that point, it was bound to be a good race for RC.
Yeah, DDR is not a bad track here for RC. They could just run with those top spots that they have, and then the bottom spots can just bag. They sort of have the sandwich positions here. BC3 does come out, though.
Yeah, so we'll be getting scores pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll get the scores up real quick.
Definitely an RC lead after GP. Or
that comes after a GP, yeah. This is race 5 coming in.
Well, you have it backwards, mister.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so RC with, I think it's 149 to 106 for AP. Definitely comebackable.
Yeah, definitely feasible with 2 GPs left. We do see Paul taking the cut there, but also Gems right behind. Let's see if Paul pulls a fib here, he's in trouble. But Paul does pull a green there to protect himself. Backs it immediately though. That was actually good because he had the alignment. Yeah, even though you don't typically... Oh, okay, that I would have held. I would have held the green right there because the first time he backed the green, it was really narrow to maneuver around. So backing green there was fine, but backing green in that instance, not as safe, but he's still locking down first here.
Definitely gonna block the cut with this fib. Doesn't want anyone behind him taking it, risking anything. Looks like he fails the block though. No. Wide open.
No, it's still
But
blocked. It was a little iffy because of the blooper, but he definitely did block it there. But it looks to me like AP unblocked it just now, but yeah, 2 people may cut in the back, so AP are starting to come back up again. Shock status, it looks to me... actually not sure who has it. It looks to me like actually Jack has it at this point. Sky9 fell off with Bill, I believe.
Yeah, Sky9 touching boxes there, the first set. It's kind of showing he doesn't have it, so... This could be anyone's game. If they're no shock, it probably would help RC. Since they're occupying more of the top spots, I think 1-3.
Yeah.
But if AP wants to make a comeback here, someone's going to have to sacrifice themselves to unblock cut for their team.
Even if they take cut, I do think... Okay, if there's a blue, then Paul's going to be screwed. But if there's no blue, he's going to keep first even if people take cut. And it looks to me only like 1 or 2 people took it anyway. This looks... It's going to be a 2-3-4 coming in for AP. So RC lagging behind a little bit now. Shock comes in late. Coming from RC. It's hard to see.
Honestly, yeah, it is very hard to see. We have definitely a first. I think AP got 2-3-4 out of that, just looking back.
Yeah, nobody dodged. I think it was just shock into boxes there for RC.
And when you shock into boxes, you could pull anything from... I mean, yeah, they could have pulled Shrooms, even a Lucky Bill, but I don't think that's the case. That's definitely an AP win.
Yeah, it was +1 for AP there. So if you're RC here, you're only 1-4 and TF is chalked off. What do you think is the best course of action here for RC?
For RC, well, it looks like everyone's going RBC, so I don't think it's without question.
It's not horrible because 4th can draft first for sure.
It's just a neutral pick. RBC is like the #1. You ask anyone in this game, they're probably gonna say RBC is like the best.
The #1 neutral track. I do think this favors RC more than AP though, because 4th can draft first. 6th is also a position that RC are occupying right now. That is British in 6th. He can also draft possibly. So the first few seconds of RBC can dictate the rest of the race, even though it is a long track and things can change. If nothing crazy happens, then the first few seconds of the race usually dictates the rest of the race. Who drafts, who gets what item, back spams around the blind corners and whatnot. Paul hits the wall, though, so not going to be good for RC. The spots were in favor for RC, but now it's mixed.
There's kind of a misconception that short tracks mean you can run it faster. I believe that longer tracks where there's more corners and more time to hit people with items and get a breakaway is better for front running. Such as RBC. You know, it doesn't, regardless of how many blue shells, blues are generally rare, and if your team can have more control over the map and the spots, it's just better for running.
Yeah. And you did say that RBC is like the most neutral track in the game according to people, but it actually is, it ranks among like the top 5 tracks in terms of team play. Usually teams that are very good together as a team win this track because you can utilize double back spams around the blind corners, and
it's control based.
For sure. You can
AP shock definitely. We see 2 of them dodging, and just like that, well, I thought I saw 2 dodging, but yeah, just like that, Sonder is first. It looks like he gets a wheelie lock, and I don't know how that red didn't hit.
He had a tray. He had something to protect him, but yeah, that wheelie lock is not good for Sonder. Looks to me like AP are still 2-3-4 though, so if they can get Paul out of first here, whether it's a blue or a snipe from Sonder, this will be looking good for AP. But let's see how Paul can handle this.
It's just little mistakes like that where like it may be out of Sonder's control, but they could have been, you know, first by now, and Sonder could have been gone because he did dodge in a bill, and you hate to see it.
A little bit of a bumping battle going on here. After Sonder shrooms up. A green's going to come out right here. Does connect on Sonder. Good work from Paul.
Good snipe. Kind of quick enough to where he couldn't react at all. So, I would like to see Paul play a little more defensive. You know, him backing every turn, he's risking getting redded. Especially with, these triples right behind him.
Oh, yeah. Trippy. If he can hit Paul's trail and then throw another green forward, these greens are dangerous because they bounce off the wall. They go every which way. Oof.
Doesn't look like it's though, and the TS coming in. That's a good TS, honestly. Normally that TS spot isn't too helpful because you grow right away, but there it was a pretty perfect TS, and I think AP is gonna clutch out first here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did say that usually it's not a good TS spot. The reason why it's usually not a TS spot is because they grow, but AP occupying everything behind first and not having any more dodges, absolutely go for a TS there just to secure that first. Because even though it's only one position gained, it's a 6-point swing rather than like a 2-point swing getting 7th, going from 7th to 6th.
And yeah, a 1-3-4-5, but for AP.
Yeah, so 39-point race for AP there.
So if you're AP here, you have 1-3-4-5. You're gonna want to go some kind of front running track. I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you're RC, you're gonna want to go more of a luck track to get those shrooms, take those shortcuts, not let them break away. AP, I really don't know what they like in terms of front running. It seems like they're opting for BC Wii here, but in general, I don't really know what they're confident with.
But I do like the MC3 coming out from RC. It's a very, very volatile track, and it's very dodge heavy, and they need this because they're occupying those bottom spots right now.
GCN Mario Circuit. This is one of those tracks you never see. I love it. I love this track.
Yeah, it's very rare to see, but I mean, it's a very good reset track if you can pull the dodges.
This is like, in my opinion, better than Delfino. It's just so underrated. And it has the same like concept of Peach Beach where it's runnable too. If you have like one person up there, it's technically runnable.
Yeah. And if you pull, I would like to have seen Joss. I would like to have seen Paul use the golden there though, because the pack was really tight. In lap 1, the first 10 seconds, the pack is always tight, and so I feel like
he's gonna be forced to use this to get away from the thundercloud.
Yeah. Yep. If he had used that golden early on, he would have been in first, not necessarily broken away, but he would have given frontal presence to RC. But holding that golden, you have a risk of getting bombed or getting TC'd, and that's what happened there. He got TC'd.
Paul pulled a bill in 8th before the baggers touched the first box. This is huge. We see Jack is winning the bagging battle, so all it's going to take is that 10th place box.
Oh, and Gems hits the job. Damn, rip Gems. I think he's out of the race unless he pulls a last second dodge here, but I think all the dodges are occupied already, so he's likely out of the race.
If Jack doesn't have shock here, I'd be very, very surprised. I'm just kind of waiting for him to go forward to show. Maybe, unless there was a shot pulled in 9th from Sky 9. The bill coming in, definitely an RC. No, it wasn't an RC shot.
No, it was a prediction. He predicted AP's shock there.
AP dodging in the first set. So either way, it doesn't matter. He still dodges. AP top 2, though. Can he? I feel like if he can get into second, this isn't as bad for RC.
No, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. No, definitely not.
Banana. And the TC coming in, they pass it to British. This is looking to be an insane race for AP.
Blue on the line, though. Can this red connect with him on the line as well? No, he passes the line.
Yeah, and just like that, a top 2-4 for AP. Even with the prediction, they were gone. I think Sonder and Trippy dodged. And so, just like that, it is, even on their own track, their own reset track, AP took the win.
It honestly comes down to, well, it's not going to be all Paul's fault, but if he had used that golden early, it could be a different story, honestly.
Paul would have been the person that was running GCN MC.
Yeah, it would have been a different story, I think, had he used that golden.
Could have been. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, so 36-point race for AP.
Just like that, Jaggy. AP is back in it, and it's very close to tied.
6-point lead now for RC. So comeback almost complete here for AP. Still 5 races to go though, so anything can happen here. But AP coming back very strong. A little unlucky for Jack though. But I do think the 9th place shot count is even. I think it's 1-1 right now, either 1-1 or 2-1 for Jack. So I guess it was a little bit of a revenge 9th place pull there for AP. But either way, still good work from AP there to come back from that 40-point deficit.
AP making the comeback. They have all the momentum in their favor right now. they have gotten like I think 3 or 4 pretty good winners, winning races in a row.
And if it picks Yoshi Falls, I think RC are in trouble here. Because AP, from what I know, AP do like running Yoshi Falls, but Sherbet Land is picked to the relief of RC there. They're going to, even though they did lose their reset pick in GCNMC, this is still very much needed for them.
I will never understand why this track is popular. It's just, it's all blue.
It's a love-hate. It's a love-hate track for sure. People hate it because of all the cracks and all the penguins, and it's just it's so undrivable.
God.
Paul gets pushed off there, but I love it because I love slip drifts and I love the mini turbo wheelie game. Like, I don't know, this track is so satisfying to drive. At least in my opinion.
Don't get me wrong, I love strip drifts too, but just play DDR. This track is just a scuffed version of Drag Ruins.
I mean, I guess so. Ooh, backspin coming in on Paul there.
Yeah, that green was kind of in the middle to where he either had to go tight or wide. I like it. It was good.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to unmute.
Hey,
to say
Klein.
that, Sherbet Land is actually a horrible track.
Someone agrees. Thank you.
Very much in agreement that it's a scuffed version.
And you're kicked from the media staff.
I don't think you can even compare Sherbet Land to
you
DDR.
are kicked from the media staff.
Completely different leagues.
Back to the race. So it looks to me like RC are occupying
back
the top.
to being muted.
RC occupying the top spots here, but it looks to me like Sky9 might have it. Actually, I'm not sure. He did fall off with Bill in 10th about 20 seconds ago, but I think he still has it in this scenario. Actually, it's tricky. We do see a fib. Nobody hits it.
Yeah, someone hit that fib, so they don't got to remember that for next lap.
Yeah.
Paul holding these 2 shrooms in 6th. If I were him, I would just kind of shroom up here to get... Yeah, here he goes. This little crack. Oh, maybe not.
Sonder backing 2 greens.
It kind of shows... some of AP are probably holding dodges here. I think Trippy being in last. Holding maybe a star.
It looks like Shix is trying to go for a dodge. This could be a very telling sign that Sky9 has it, but Jack actually stars Sky9, so neither bagger has it right now.
Ooh, assassination, and there's a blue coming in. Paul pulling the lucky Mega in 5th place. Looks like this race is completely turned around in RC's favor.
Oh, it looks to me like RC are top 2-4 here. Top 2-4 with a Mega here for Paul. This could be very good. If it's shockless, RC are definitely going to win this. AP needs a shock right now.
If you're Paul, you just use your Mega. Just use it. Like, you're dodging, you're not dodging. There it is. And dodging AP shock.
Oh, like
if he can get the screen snipe. Oh, come on. You wanted to see it.
Just a little too far to the right there for Paul there. Yeah, last second shock. AP dodging up in a Bill and a star there. Looked to me like RC were going to run away with that. But yeah, shock definitely changes everything in this game.
So, Paul is like 2 for 2 on predictions here. I mean, it's not the most scientific shock you'll ever see, but I mean, he's still predicting them, you know?
Yeah. The one on MC was a brilliant prediction, but
yeah,
AP just broke away in like after dodging there. AP with another good race here though.
Yeah, top 2-4-7 for them, and ending the GP off strong, coming back for GP2. Who will become victorious? Who do you think? We have RC for GP1, AP for GP2. It's a very close war.
Yeah, AP had a stronger GP2 than RC had GP1. RC, yeah, definitely throwing a punch at AP, but AP coming back with a left, right, and uppercut there.
Turn into boxing.
Yep. I do say that somewhat often whenever teams go back and forth. I say, both teams throwing punches. I say that quite often. It's kind of like a Jaggy quote.
Just like that, though, AP went from a minus 30 deficit to up by around
12.
20, I think.
Yeah, it's 12 point. Very solid comeback. So that's to show,
like, nothing is static after GP1.
And it looks to me like Prove joined the room and left, so I think he wanted his 5 seconds of fame. AP definitely getting the better of the quote-unquote luck tracks because of the enhanced experience that Sky9 has. He did misplay in Sherbet Land though. Allowed Jack to catch up to him with the star and star him, but other than that, Sky9 has had the edge over Jack in this war so far. The shot count has been slightly in favor for AP, not too much. According to the chat, there were 2 or 3 shocks in 9th for Jack. but it just shows you the experience factor that Sky9 has over Jack. He's out-bagging Jack so far. We'll see how Jack can respond.
Disclaimer, Jack and Sky9, just looking at the minimap, a lot of the races, they are neck and neck. So there's kind of this misconception where, like, out-bagging means out-shocking.
Oh, yeah,
or
out-shocking means out-bagging, yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't necessarily say out-bagging, but there were a couple of tracks in which Sky9 had a large lead over Jack. Like in Maple Treeway, Jack was struggling to make the backward strat while Sky9 made it flawlessly. That's just one example.
AP going for Koopa Cape, I guess because neither team really has dominating spots. It's kind of mixed, scattered spots. So Koopa Cape is definitely a good pick for that. Same with Dredge Ruins.
Yeah, I do think in this case, both teams should just have 2-run and 2-bag. That's usually the meta for actually, maybe not 2-run, 2-bag in this scenario. Just have 3-run and 1 bag for like a golden just to get back up there.
Yeah, KC definitely want to have all the runners you can. It's similar to RBC to where control and back spam is huge.
Well, the only real way to like really catch up like heavily is if you have a golden, you take the golden strat, like take the grass cut and then go inside the ramp. That's really it, though. So you want to establish top spots early on.
I mean, you're able to back spam down the pipe. You're able to... There's so many good opportunities, like, just for being in first on this track. Yeah.
Looks to me like...
Triple shrooms from Paul. He's definitely going to hold these.
2, 3, 4 coming in right now. Actually, 3, 4, 5 for RC. I'm not sure who's first. We'll take a look at that in a second.
He's going to opt for this grass cut right here. I kind of would have liked to see him save it for... Okay, yeah. So he goes around the turn. He was going to save it for the end shortcut, but...
If you're...
Do you know who's in first?
Yeah, it's trippy. So AP occupying top 2. If you're Shix in this scenario, don't back too aggressively yet. But because in this pipe section, it's so easy to get redded. There's nothing to break anything on. As soon as you leave this pipe... Then you have a little more leeway to start back spamming aggressively and keeping the 3-4 back there.
These reds are kind of a case of like wrong place, getting lucky at the wrong place in the wrong time. Because when it would have been so good if RC was top 2 and Paul hold these reds.
Paul's gonna go for Shroomba with the red here. Looks like.
He can't really do much with these though. It's just gonna break. AP's not gonna be able to.
Jack has shock though, so the race could change around in a flash. They need to use it probably right about now though, because AP are breaking away in top 2. Get a shock red on Shix possibly.
Not only that, if you shock when the other team's going down the waterfall, it's deadly. You get slowed down completely. I would have liked to see that, but it doesn't look like they're going for it.
Maybe there isn't a shock. I saw Jack running away. I'm not sure.
Shik's getting rid of his protection, and just like that, getting redded.
Yeah.
Kind of showing that playing aggressive isn't always good. And they get a shock in the boxes,
yeah,
and just like that, a 2-3-4.
Yeah, I thought they might have. I thought they might have been going for a shock red on Shix, but I guess Paul realized that he didn't have.
Why would you do that?
Oh no! That just completely
got a little too greedy there, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, he saw Saunders shrooming up, but it was a lost cause. He wasn't going to red Saunder anyway, and then throwing that red, redding his teammate that wasn't shrooming up. Yeah, that's...
I don't even... Did he cross the finish line?
No, I think he got last, actually.
Oh my god. That's just one of those things where, like, you kind of have to factor in the risk versus reward. If anything, he reds Saunder and gains 1 spot. At worst, he reds his teammate and loses 3 spots. Yeah.
It was only a +1 though for AP, so not a horrible loss for RC. But considering that you were down by 12 going into that race, definitely might be demoralizing for RC. We'll see how they react to that, but that's definitely not something you need at this point in time.
Yeah, it was a play. I see the intention, and obviously he wasn't trying to team kill.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just not worth it. So 2-4-5 for RC. They have 4th, which is good, but I think a lot of the track picks are kind of out of the way. A lot of the track picks that I personally like are and a lot more running stuff. We've already played Maple, played TF, we've played Koopa Cape. They could go BC Wii, but I really don't see them going for that, especially when they're not occupying like any top spots.
I do think BCW maybe well, like we said, RC are getting the better of AP usually in the running tracks. AP did get a winning race though because of that red. So I think BCW still could work because even though BCW is a running track, you can get shrooms in the back and just spam them to get back up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna kindly disagree. I feel like BCW is more of that scripted track similar to TF.
Yeah.
Where top 3 should just take the boxes, back what they get. I feel like it could be so much better than like a 1-3.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I know what you're saying though.
But I understand. It is catch-upable, especially with the glitch.
If it's top 3, you should if the opposing team is like top 3, you should never pick BCW under any circumstance. But if it's like 1-3-5, then I guess there is a little bit of a chance to get back up there. Looks like Trippy though.
Yeah, he's showing that he is a troller at
yes.
heart, and he just starred like 3 of
I
them.
love that from Trippy, honestly. He does get redded off the track as a result, but I love that from Trippy though. Probably realized that his team got the better of the first 3 seconds of that race in terms of top spots, and just slagging in that tight little those tight pathways. Very good work from him.
Looks like AP made the glitch. Someone did. But yeah, in terms of, like, just giving anyone a break, just hitting people in general, it doesn't matter what spot they are, is just good. And so to have that player, that role that doesn't care about what spot they are and will just slow down and hit someone, it takes a lot.
I think AP are occupying top 2, but RC are right behind them in 3-4. There's going to be a blue coming in on Shix, though. So this is going to be good for RC to start catching back up.
I feel like he should have held that blue and tried to, like, target blue them last ramp. That ramp can be so deadly. I was nearly avoiding that fib falling off.
Good recovery. The safe option would have just to drive into the mud slightly, but it was good recovery there from Paul. It took a little bit of a risk there, but the risk paid off. He didn't lose any time there.
And yeah, for the most part, there's kind of a split in the pack. You have top 4 running it up, and just Paul and along with the others just pulling shrooms, able to break away. And you have bottom 4, which are kind of just fighting for those mid positions.
Yeah, and it looks like one of our, actually no, it was Shix that fell off. I think it might have been a Nana that was placed on the boost panel section. So RC are going to run away with this top 3 here.
And this is when, if you're AP, you have to look at the shock. That was such an aggressive shock. Like, there's no reason to use that when you're top 3, but it worked out.
I what I'm guessing was RC were in a dodge possibly, and they saw that AP weren't in any other dodges. Usually you don't want to shock there if you're top spots, but I guess realizing that AP weren't in any dodges.
There's that blue, and just like that, he's going to get comboed, so maybe not as good as a race for RC as they wanted. Still a top 2, though. And I think Shix was a dodger from that RC shot.
Actually, it might have been AP shock, because I saw Jack not spinning out, but I think he might have been in a star at the time. So
okay,
it was very much possible that was an AP shock rather than an RC shock.
I just couldn't tell because I thought AP was 4th. I thought I thought they were trying to TS 4th, which would have been interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't AP shock confirmation.
Yeah, that's my bad.
It's all good.
So yeah, kind of AP coming back from that shock, able to Shix was able to dodge and combo. I think whoever B is, Moises, I think that is.
Moises got subbed. He got subbed for Ethan. Yeah, Ethan subbed in for Moises. So 310 to 300 actually is the score I currently have right now.
That's really close.
2 races left. RC bringing it back strong. I do think RC played that race very well though. Even though they weathered the storm of Trippy schlagging initially. After the schlag, AP were top 2. A blue came in from Paul, and then Ethan somehow snuck into first, whether it was an outline against Shix or a snipe. I think it might have been a snipe. That's how Shix lost first. And then a back spam on the boost panel.
RC's proving what I said earlier to be correct. They're just on these tracks that they can run away with it and organize back spams and other items. They're just gone. And it seems like... Continue.
And with Moonview, looks to me like AP are in trouble because RC have had the better of AP in the running tracks, but AP just bringing it back strong in the quote-unquote luck tracks, getting more of the shocks. But
This
let's
is also a
yeah.
giant top 3 track.
Oh yeah,
Like almost better than a BC Wii or a Rainbow Road.
Paul opting not to back the bomb car. That could mean that RC are still fourth at the moment. Yeah, I think that was British. I saw for a split second and fourth.
Ooh, barely narrowly avoiding that green there.
It connected on one of AP, I believe. Someone from AP spun out, I think. So British still keeping his fourth. Red's coming out on Trippy, though, so this is good for RC.
Just like that, AP is out of the top spots. Paul right here, after the boost panel section, if British is still third, I would almost like to see him slow down with this red and try to kill him. He's not too far back to where it would really hurt his lead, and it would only make top two's lead get bigger. Looks like he kind of kills their bagger instead.
I would have had to disagree there because even if he's, you never know, there could have been like triple reds in fourth possibly. So I do think running there was still the good option there for Paul.
Yeah, you're right.
Blue comes out on Joss.
Oh, why did he slow down?
He forgot the car pattern for a split second there. Yeah, so there's a truck after that bomb car. Same pattern, like, you know, the truck, bomb car wide 45, truck tight 48, coming up in the next 15 seconds of the race. Same exact pattern there, and I think Paul just forgot it there.
This bomb can be a killer. He can either go for fourth place or kind of throws it.
Does connect on gems, yeah.
That was a pretty neat bomb. I liked it. Either way, it was on the boost panel section, so it probably didn't affect him too much.
Comes in from RC, yeah, dodging both Joss and Ethan there. That was very good for RC because the spots were mixed, but then that shock makes it so that they're going to get a very good race here. Bottom 2, I think, for AP coming up.
Yeah, and with the car being in front of Paul, he wasn't able to like throw any of his reds without them cracking. But still, pretty good race for RC, and their lead widens going into the last race.
Yeah, I thought AP would have started. I thought AP would have mounted a comeback after the blue one, Joss and Paul ended up hitting the car, but yeah, RC with that shock changed the race around completely. And Jack looked to me like he did get that in 10th. He was in 10th from what I saw the whole way.
I feel like this race right here kind of set the tone for race 12. If AP would have just even lost by a little bit, not even had to win the race, if they just lost by a tiny bit, it would have been a lot easier for race 12. I'm not saying it's completely impossible yet until we have the scores, but they're going to have to make a big play race 12. Maybe even top 5 run.
As it stands, it's a plus 25 point lead for RC. So AP don't have to go all run in this scenario.
They need a top 3-5 or a top 3-6, I believe, to win the war.
I believe
I can do
top
that.
3-6, I think, is the threshold that they need to achieve.
For all you point nerds out there, let us know how much they need. Because a top 4-9, a perfect race, theoretically, is a plus 31, so they don't need that. Anyways, we see kind of a mix in tracks here. There's that one guy that's just going Hail Mary on Luigi Circuit.
If I'm not mistaken, I think a top 3-7 ties and top 3-6 wins.
Okay. They're going for MC3, and does this strike you as a top 4 track?
If everything goes according to plan, yes. But it's so volatile to a point where anything can happen to top spots at any given moment. I do think this is a good track pick for AP nonetheless.
AP's all 5 running.
Oh, they are going all run. Very bold from AP. They don't have to go all run, but they're still choosing to do so. And I do think
this is one of those things.
Go ahead.
They need to utilize their 5. If they have 5 players, they need to utilize that and have someone slagging, have more people running.
And they need someone in 9th at all costs, and that's what Saunders doing right now.
The game plan has to be there. You can't just all 5 run with intention of the other team not pulling shock. Jack is getting free 10th place boxes right now, so
it looks to me, I don't know if Jack has it yet. No, he's shrimming up. He doesn't have it yet. This could be big for AP if they have it in 9th.
Paul wants to hold this star up. Obviously going for the Dodge Lap 3. In terms of predictability, obviously RC is in 10th. They're more likely to pull
Now
it.
I think they have it. I think RC has it, so this might not be looking good for AP here.
And if they're trying, it depends on when they're trying to use it. If RC uses an obvious shock, they risk AP dodging. So if they have the top spots, they could just wait till the end and use it. We see the whole room in dodges right here.
He's gonna have last second shock, but first still occupied for RC. It looks to me like it's not gonna be enough.
A top 3 for RC coming in.
Yeah.
And just like that, it goes to RC. We saw AP kind of making a comeback GP2 in the beginning of GP3. But in the end, RC's runner power and being able to stay up there was just a little too much for AP.
Yeah. I did say 2-3. For some reason, I thought Paul was I thought it was an AP point of view for a split second. But yeah, top 3 coming in for RC. Very strong finish there in the last 3 races or so. RC not letting the red on Koopa Cape affect them, not letting the comeback from AP deter them. RC bringing it back after a while and just cementing their place in the final. Congratulations to Regicide for making it on all the way to the final. Props to AP for putting up a fight. It was a very entertaining match. What do you think of the match overall?
Definitely. I'm glad they started making a comeback in GP2 and 3. They kept it close, and that's what matters. I feel like their game plan was good, and on the tracks that they were, pulling shock, and they were up there a lot of the times. I just think in general, RC just had a little bit more experience in terms of running and consistency when it comes like staying in the top. So
RC definitely had the running advantage there, and they utilized their running a little more effectively than AP. AP was just very strong with their shocks. Like anytime they had shock, they were able to change races around completely.
I think as well, I liked that Trippy was going for schlags a lot of the races, slowing down with reds, and I would have liked to see more of that from their teammates. Just like I said, hitting anybody is so useful. It's just slowing people down in general. You don't have to be the best runner in the game to contribute to your team, and Trippy kind of showing that.
And yeah, it was a little too much for AP in the end. It was a little too much of a tall task. They did play very well. They put up a fight. But in the end, Regicide's running was able to outpower AP's strategy of getting the shocks and getting the dodges. They weren't able to get the shocks in all of the races. So Regicide, in the tracks that they did have shock, or in the tracks that were shockless, Regicide did have the slight edge there because of their running power. But yeah, the final's going to be interesting. It's going to be List of Croatian Films against Regicide.
L's been pretty dominant this season, if I recall.
Yeah, Regicide did get a win against List of Croatian Films in week 4 by 12. I believe that was a suicide war because Regicide, I don't think they would ever pick Troll in any circumstance. And then in week 9, it was another win by Regicide by 2. So actually 2-0. Regicide are 2-0 against L, but L pretty much beating everyone else. Almost everyone else. They went 6-4 as well as Regicide. So List of Croatian Films getting first seed overall, but 0-2 against Regicide. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the final.
I don't have much else to say. I think both teams played pretty well. It was an interesting match, and I'm excited for finals. It's been a pretty close division all around with some, we saw Equipo Phoenix kind of making a comeback at the end.
Yeah. They made a push. It was like South London ends in D4. Both teams
look how close this is. Yeah.
Yeah, both teams, both South London ends and Equipo Phoenix making a huge push in the last 5 weeks of the season, but both teams barely missing out on the playoffs. Yeah, Equipo Phoenix, I'm just not sure how. I did have them getting 5th or 4th in the predictions because they have Russo, but they don't have too much of a backup other than Russo. But it's just they picked it up after the last few weeks. I think their backup runners were able to start backing up Russo a little more, but it was a little too late for them. And then Beyblade, they had a strong lineup even without Alex US, but they failed to gather 5 on 2 occasions, and they got 2 free losses, and that ended up killing them. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. Coming up next on our YouTube channel, we're going to show Insane Crew versus Lone Diggers in the CTD2 finals. So stay tuned for that one. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.